Hello, welcome back to the TNC podcast. I hope you're all well. I'm delighted to be able to welcome today former Norwich City player Matt Jarvis. Matt, how are you doing, mate?
I'm very well,
Good.
thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for welcoming me into your. Is this your man cave? Is that what it's called?
Cinema
yes,
room?
I
suppose that. Yeah, I think it'll be taken over soon by my little one, but for the moment, it is the man cave. Yeah.
Good. Congratulations on the news. The second child coming on the way.
Yes, thank you.
Keep you busy.
Yes, it certainly will. Yeah, one's fun enough, but two will be very entertaining.
Good.
Yeah.
I want to kind of take things right back to the start. It's been a long and a successful career. Started out with Gillingham. I saw the little post around there of you and your Gillingham days. Fresh face, Jarvis.
Yeah, I know.
How did football come about for you? Because I know for most young lads it's the dream.
Yeah.
I know for me, I still think I can make it pro. If you watch me play, you'll probably tell me otherwise.
I'll wait to say.
But at what age did you think, yeah, I've got a chance here?
For me, like during school, I did everything at school. I did football, swimming, athletics, cross country. You know, I did everything, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And to be fair, I was quite good at it. I was Surrey champion swimming.
Really?
Athletics.
Swimmer?
Yeah.
Didn't think that.
Yeah, I know the height. I know. But yeah, 50 metres breaststroke and 100 breaststroke was my main thing. But
Surrey champ.
yeah. So I did swimming. I did athletics. I used to do the 1500 and the 800.
Okay.
Asked me why I didn't do the sprints.
Yeah.
I've got no idea.
Okay.
But I used to love it. And then I used to do cross country.
Right.
So I used to be Surrey champion swimming, athletics, and cross country.
You were bossing it.
Which I love. And every night of the week, you know, I used to be doing football. Some days I used to be doing football and swimming, then athletics. You know, every Monday to Sunday. You know, Sunday I used to turn up, do a football game, go straight to an athletics meet, then swimming in the evening. You know, stuff like that. It was ridiculous, but I absolutely loved it. So at some point it had to be, you know, what was I going to do? And for me, it was always, there was no doubt in my mind, it was always going to be football.
Yeah.
I loved it. And at the time I was playing for Millwall, would you believe? I was there for I don't know, about 6 years.
Okay.
And then right up till trying to get a youth team contract, I got released.
At what age is this?
So that's 16.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
Having been
16.
there from...
Having been there for 10, from when I was 10,
Yeah.
11. Yeah, so got
That
released.
must have hit hard.
Do you know what? It was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's you know, something you always wanted to do, and then you get to that youth team contract, and then I got told, no, not good enough. You know, all the best sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it did hit me hard.
Because
you
that's
then
what
start,
you've been working towards the whole of your life.
Yeah, and you start thinking, yeah, am I good enough? Should I do other things? Should I do that? And for a split second, I started to think like that. But then straight away, a guy called Bernie Dillon called me up, who was a Gillingham scout, got me straight in. Said, you know, he was like, there's a game. I got told on the Saturday, he said, there's a game tomorrow, Wolves versus Gillingham.
Okay.
Millwall versus Gillingham.
Right.
Come and play in it, and so we can have a look. And I said no. At the time, I was just like, no. So I didn't play in it.
Okay.
And then he was like, right, come the next week, you know, come to training. And two of the other players that I'd been with at Millwall had gone. So they were like, oh, come over, train with them. And then I did in the end. I went over and I trained, and I really enjoyed it. He was great. He got me in. But I went on trial, played quite a few games. And for me, I was terrible.
Really?
My confidence had been knocked.
Right.
Like everything. I wasn't very good. I wasn't. Luckily for me, they took a chance and they offered me a youth team contract.
I see.
So it's like 2-year YT. No, sorry, it's a 3-year YT.
Yeah.
So back then, it's all changed that. And as soon as I signed, that first year as a youth team, something just switched with me. I was everything, confidence, like everything. Yeah. I really enjoyed it, and I did really well. And by the end of the first year, I think I was nearly top. I think I was top scorer in the youth team. I was, it was going really well. I was playing reserve team football. At the start of pre-season the second year, I went on tour with the first team.
Bloody hell! What was that like?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Went to Le Touquet, I think it was. scored in pre-season in my first game.
Yeah.
And it was just great because at the time, Gillingham were in the Championship. We had some really good players. Andy Hessenthaler was the manager. Paul Shaw was playing. You had Paul Smith. You had the names.
People to look up to as well at that age.
And they were all really good guys. Like they would, help you out in training. I mean, they would give you a kick if you were taking the mick out of them. That sort of thing. But it was great. And I stayed with them then. After pre-season, I sort of stayed, and then I made my debut at 17 against Sunderland at home.
Wow!
I come on as a sub. We were 3-0 down, and got battered.
Whooped.
Really, yeah. But I come on last 25, 30 minutes, and it was amazing. Yeah, absolutely amazing.
As a young lad, I think that it's so tough to make it to the top in football, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where's your confidence at that stage? Because you obviously know you've got a bit of ability, but when you get released from Millwall, and you're down here, to then go to making a championship appearance within a couple of years,
it's about under a year and a half.
I mean, how is that? How are you coping with that? Because it's such change, isn't it?
Yeah. For me, I moved out. So when I went to Gillingham, I went into digs.
Yeah.
So I moved out of home when I was 16. Lived. So actually, funny enough, my digs lady was Ryan Bertrand's mum.
Really?
Yeah, so I lived with Ryan for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how old was Ryan at that point?
I don't know. He's a few years younger than me.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he was at Gillingham as well.
I see.
So she was my digs lady for
Nice
3
lady.
years. Yeah, lovely family. And there was 2 other players that were living with me as well. Leon Solomon and Ashley Carew were both
still in contact.
Yeesh. Yeah. I still keep an eye and see what they're up to.
Good.
But it was great for me, I think, because then I just literally dived into football, and that was it. You were in early because we got a lift in by the youth team manager.
Okay.
Because none of us could drive, and then we had to stay late until the youth team manager had finished.
I see.
So
to get lift home.
To get lift home. So we literally went in early, trained. At that point you had to do all the jobs. You had to clean change rooms, clean boots, clean everything.
Yeah.
And then we used to then just be hanging around. So we used to then play 2-touch, play against whatever we tried to do. So I just went full into football, and it sort of you grow up very quickly. Yeah. You're practicing every day, and then you're watching, and sometimes it's one of them like you train next to the first team. First team, a man gets injured or something. Right, we need another body. They'll go right. You come over. So I would they take it in turns a little bit, but if you get put over, you're in. We're training with the first team. You're just buzzing. You're trying to do everything. So you've got that appetite to go and train with them, and then they're in a championship. You're seeing them play on a Saturday because you've got to do jobs at the game. Yeah. So you get that. You're like, I want to be in that first team.
I think with youth comes a slight edge of fearlessness, doesn't it?
Definitely.
And so, say when you're a youngster training with the youth team or the reserves, and the first team manager goes, "Come on, mate, you're in." Yeah. Is it like, oh shit, I've got to prove myself? I'm nervous, or is it right? I'm going to prove a point.
Probably a bit of both, but you don't have enough time to think about it. You're literally go in, you've got to run straight over, and you're straight into it, and you are nervous. That running over, you're like, oh my god, but you're straight into your football. You've done this for years already. You straight in, you try and do the right things. You don't try and give the ball away, that sort of thing. It does make you grow up, and it makes you realise how hard it is, because then you give the ball away, and you've got a teammate going, oi, don't give that away. And back then, you got told. So it was like, right, you were like, right, okay, keep it simple, give it, go, stay with the runners. That's, one of the big things.
For an attacking player like you, though, there's the risk of going into your shell a bit.
Definitely. I feel like that, like I said, when I was on trial, I think because my confidence has been knocked so much when I was at Millwall and getting released and that sort of thing, I then did go into my shell a bit. I didn't do the things that I usually do, because you're fearful of making a mistake, which in my position you're going to make loads of mistakes, but you'll do 2 or 3 good things, and you could create 2 or 3 goals or score a goal. So it's you've got to do them things, but there's a fear factor and a bit like, oh, don't do that. I don't want to do that because I don't want to give the ball away, or I don't want to have a shot because I could pass to someone else. It's that side of things.
Definitely. So 4 years at Gillingham, successful years at Gillingham. Then comes Wolves.
Yeah.
Now, I think this is probably, and please do tell me if I'm wrong, but your name gets on the map. People start to know about Matt Jarvis, what you're all about.
Yeah.
What's that move like? Because that's a massive club to go to.
Yeah. It was one that when I was at Gillingham, I sort of I didn't sign a new deal, so I let my contract run out. Not because I didn't like the club. I absolutely loved my time at Gillingham. It was amazing. It just I wanted to play a high level. I felt I'd given enough to maybe warrant going, and I got the opportunity. I remember I remember I was going on holiday. It was in the summer. I was going on holiday with my mates. And to Marbella, actually. It's the first time I went to Marbella, and it was all booked. I had my bag packed. I was going out with the front door, me going to the airport with them, and I got a call from my agent saying, you're going to Portugal tomorrow to meet Mick McCarthy. And I was like, but I'm just going to the airport. And I was like, yeah, fine. So I said to my mates, like, sorry, like, I'll meet you out there. Like, you go, I've got to go. So they all went. Next day I got a flight out in the morning on my own, flew out to Portugal, met my agent, met Mick McCarthy, had a great meeting with him, chatting about everything, he was telling me what he wants, that sort of thing. I flew home that day. Next day I went up to Wolves to meet Dave Bowman to show me around Molineux. I then went on, I then sort of pretty much in them sort of times I then signed. You wouldn't believe, I then was like, after I signed, I was like, oh, I've got to get to the airport because I'm going to go and meet my mates because we were on holiday.
You've already lost a chunk
I've already lost a chunk of lads' holiday, exactly. The club secretary, who I just signed with, was on the same flight as me to Spain.
Way.
So I got a lift with him. I signed. I was buzzing. I was on my own. I signed. I was buzzing. Got a lift with him, with his wife, to the airport. Then checked in, and then I kept on seeing him around. You know, like you're at the airport. I'm on my phone to my mates. Like, I've just signed. I'm coming out. Like, and then he was on the same flight as me. After the flight, I get my bags. And then I still see him. I was like, oh, hi. And then I was like running out to the car, and then straight out and meet my mates. It was amazing. And then, funny enough, like Stephen Ward was out there. I didn't actually see him, but all his mates we met, and he was like, oh, he plays for Wolves. I was like, oh, I've just signed for Wolves.
Bonkers.
Crazy.
Ended up turning into a pretty expensive holiday then.
It was, flights,
new flights.
Yeah, exactly. But all worth it.
Mick McCarthy, he's almost turned into a bit of a Norwich cult hero after a few of the recent gatherings with Ipswich. What was he like? Because
amazing,
a very well established manager.
Amazing. I can't speak highly of Mick. He was, for me, brilliant. He transformed, I think.
Really?
Transformed me in the sense that I was a good player going there, but he just tweaked and told me different things and where I should be, what I should be doing. The way I trained, his coach, his first team assistant was Terry Connor, who was fantastic with me. He took me out every morning, well, not every morning, but most mornings after training. I was doing like practicing cutting inside, shooting, practicing going down line, crossing, different crosses.
Just one-on-one.
Just one-on-one with Terry, with TC,
Terry.
yeah.
Okay.
And then I had, the best fitness coach that I could have was Tony Daly.
Okay.
He was an England winger, played very similar to me on the left-hand side, right-footed. So he again was, getting me doing my sprint training, getting me doing agility work, stuff in the gym, giving me pointers of, of what he did in his game to make me a better player, which was amazing. I could not have asked for a better team around to develop me as a player.
I'm really glad you've said that about Mick, because I think the media have maybe portrayed him as a slight dinosaur when it comes to management, and I think with what he did at Ipswich on very limited resources, took them into the playoffs. He had to play a defensive style. Yeah. And I think people thought that attacking players were often just left
not
alone.
At all. I mean, you look at his budget, you say that with Ipswich, you look at the budget he had at Wolves. Yeah. It was incredibly low. Yeah. And he transformed it, and in our second season we won the championships by miles.
Unbelievable.
It was fantastic. And he was on the training pitch every single day working. So he...
Do you like that from a manager?
Yeah. I do, yeah. I think it's, it is different, but when the manager's there, no one's hiding. Yeah. No one can do anything because he's watching every single minute of every day. And he was shouting and screaming, and that's what Mick was. But he was honest. That's the biggest thing you could say about him. Everything that he did. If you were dropped on a Saturday, he'd bring you in on a Friday and tell you were dropped. He would tell you a reason. You might not agree with it, But he would be like, that's fine, but that's the reason why you're not playing tomorrow.
And surely
you can't argue with that.
Well, that's what you want as a footballer, right? Because there's a lot being said in and around you. Maybe you don't know quite what's going on at times. All you want is honesty.
Exactly. So he was brilliant, and I still speak to him. Yeah,
Do you?
Yeah.
How's he doing?
Yeah, I mean, brilliant. Yeah.
Living the dream.
Yeah, but he was brilliant, and I always would thank him for what he done for me, definitely.
And in that time at Wolves, am I right in saying this is when the England?
Yep.
I mean, as a young boy, that's all you dream of, right? I mean, it's
the
up
dream.
there. Ghana 2011. There's the picture of you running down the wing. What a night that must have been.
Incredible. Like you said, it's a boyhood dream.
Yeah.
It's what everyone dreams about. I remember, I've got another story. I remember actually getting called up. We played Villa away, so it was a derby game. Villa away. I think it was an early kickoff. So I'd scored. We won 1-0. I scored a volley. It was away at Villa, so I drove. We came home back down south.
Yeah.
I was went back to. I was living in Guildford at the time, so I was out. Yeah, I went out in Guildford. I saw Sam Vokes was out, and then he was out during the day, and then he was like, "I've got to go. I've just been called up to the Wales squad." I was like, "Oh, brilliant! All the best."
Yeah.
He went, and then I went travelled back up on the Sunday, back up to Wolves because back in on the Monday.
Yeah.
So on the Sunday, me and my wife just got up, just got in the kitchen, and then I got a text message. And I was like, oh, what's this? And it was from the FA saying you've been called up to England. And I was like,
is that how it works?
I was like,
can't believe that's how it works.
Yeah, I was like, nah, that's someone's pulling my leg here. And then about 2 minutes later, I then got a call saying, look, this is true. You've been called up to England. And I was just like, wow. And they said, in about 15 minutes, it's going to come up on Sky Sports News. So if you want to tell like your family or anything, and you need this, you need a passport for time. No, I think maybe it was half an hour. I don't know. But so I was just like, me and my wife were like this is amazing. Yeah. Like, so brilliant. So there I am. I'm calling my mum and dad to tell them. Call my mum, no answer. Call my dad, no answer. Call the house phone, no answer. I'm calling my brother, tell him, and I was like, where's mum and dad? They're like, I don't know. Go try it. So I was like, right. Last resort was where they used to live. They used to go to a restaurant just around the corner called the Rajdut. So it was like, I was like, right, I'll try it. So I called the Rajdut and I was like, oh, hi. I was like, is my mum and dad there? And they were like, yeah, they are. I was like, okay, could you put them on, please? So they went over. She got the phone. I was like, I've just been called up. They were like, brilliant.
Oh my goodness.
It was crazy.
That's unbelievable. Yeah. It's a really interesting one because the rise through the ranks is relatively quickly for you.
Yeah.
Did you get into that England squad and have a slight bit of, I think you call it imposter syndrome, feel like? Did you think you deserved to be there?
I'd played really well. But I say the problem is, in my position at that time, the talent that was in the Premier League was incredible. Yeah. You had Ashley Young, Stuart Downing, Theo Walcott, Aaron Lennon, all of these. It was just incredible. So I suppose I was playing really well. I just scored as well again. So I just started to score a few more goals. I scored at the weekend. Yeah. Derby game, it was on Sky. It was one of them. So everything was sort of came into right. I think Walcott was injured, I think. Okay. So there was a couple. Milner obviously was there as well. Yeah. So there was a couple of players that weren't quite. So I got in and it was Capello.
Was it?
Yeah, and he was like, first when I went in, he goes, you pleased you been called up? I was like, yeah,
obviously.
Of course I am. And he goes, like, the goal against Villa sort of
I see.
Did icing on the cake to get called up. I was like, fantastic.
Yeah.
But it was just when John Terry got renamed as captain.
I see.
And he was, I have to say, he was brilliant.
Yeah.
As a captain and as for a team, he was fantastic. And the first game was against Wales in the qualifier.
Big game.
Yeah, I mean,
against Vokesy.
Yeah, well, I didn't get on. I didn't play on that game. But then there was a friendly against Ghana.
Yeah.
And a few of the lads that had played in the qualifier had Champions League the next week.
I see.
So they didn't play in the friendly. Yeah. So then a few of the others got a chance to play. And Terry messaged me in the morning of the game to say, you deserve to be here. You've earned the right to be here. Go out, enjoy it. do your thing, do what you're doing. And I was just like, that's
unbelievable.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
As a man to do that, to come out and just give me a message. I know he was captain, but he wasn't actually going to be there. But it was fantastic. So
what's that whole kind of England setup like? Because whenever I'm watching it on the telly, I think there's so many moving elements, isn't it? Everyone's got their own story. Everyone's at their own club doing differently. Yeah. And then you're expected to go out and play in a cohesive manner, and it's like that must be so tough.
It's very tough. I think it's sort of slightly different now because Southgate's completely changed everything. But at the time, it was like I'd played against all of them, but I didn't really know any of them. So it was like going back your first day of school a little bit. Like I'd go in and be like, oh, all right, I'm Matt. How you doing? But obviously, I'd played against them all loads, but I hadn't really had that sort of relationship, but it was really good.
Yeah. So England ticked off. At this point, are you thinking, achieved everything I wanted to?
Not at all. No? I think I remember as soon as I got back to Wolves, Mick pulled me and was like, fantastic, brilliant. He said, but now you're a marked man. He said, you're going to have to now develop again because you've sort of not been unknown, but you've been playing really well. No one's really taken that much of it. Now, the fullback's going to be like, right, England player, you're going to have it today. So I then had to sort of try and manoeuvre my game a little bit, run away to come short, like all the basics, but actually try and then get into positions where they weren't going to pick me up, have to make them make a decision. Yeah. It got a little bit more complicated, more difficult to then do what I was doing before, but that makes you a better player.
So the evolution continues. Yeah. Then comes West Ham.
Yeah.
That's another massive move, isn't it? Am I right in saying you were the record signing for a bit of time?
Yes, I was, yeah.
That's pressure, straight off the bat.
It certainly was, yeah. I think, everyone knows how big West Ham is as a club, but I think you don't realise until you're in it. Like I'd signed, I was in Canary Wharf, signed everything, and then it was just like, wow, everyone that's come out of the woodwork is a West Ham fan. And it was just so much.
It was just
as well. Yeah, but it was brilliant. I loved it. I remember coming straight into. I just signed. I walking around the training ground, and Big Sam was doing his meeting for they had a game, I think. Or no, they were just training or reviewing the game before. And I remember just going in, and he come out of the meeting just to meet me because I just signed. So he come out and he come out the door. And he's then stood up and he's massive. And you're like, wow, I didn't realise he was that big. And then he's like, oh, Jarvo. And you're just like, brilliant, right, it's all done, great. And he was like, right, see you tomorrow. You're like, okay, great.
Unbelievable.
And then that was it.
What's that dynamic walking into a dressing room? Because they all know that you're the record signing.
Yeah. Again, I didn't really know anyone as well. So
is that better? Is that worse?
I think it's. For me, I would say it's worse because you then got to sort of find your feet a little bit. Whereas if you know someone, you're straight in, you're chatting away, it's all fine. But they were brilliant. Great group of lads. Yeah. And then straight after I signed, a few weeks later, and then Andy came on loan, and it was just like, wow, this is going to be great.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, perfect. At that time for the last 2 seasons, or that season, the season before, and that first season West Ham, I had the most crosses in Europe, most successful crosses in Europe, chances created. Yeah. And Andy had the most headers.
Really?
Yeah. And it was like, well, this is a dream.
Yeah. So was that because you knew your role, you were going to, hit the flanks, you were going to whip balls in? Yeah. And was that always Big Sam's plan?
Yeah. Everyone on the team knew their role in their job in the team. He was very much right. He's an old school manager with all of the new technology. Okay. He was the first person that I would but you'd massively into statistics.
Really?
Yeah, we'd have a massive meeting before every game, or he would break it up into 8 games. Okay. And so you'd right, first 8 games we need this many points to get. We would do a big meeting before the start of the season, right? To finish, our goal was first year back in the Premier League was finish 10th. Okay. So average over the last 8-10 years, you need this many points. That means you need this many goals, this many goals conceded, this many wins, this many draws. Everything down to where you would score your goals. If your cross was coming in, where you need to be. Far post, the Pomo, he used to say. And so everyone knew where they had to be. So for me, it was great. They used to do little bits, get wide, get crosses in.
Brilliant.
It was great.
And in that time as well, Premier League, West Ham Player of the Season. I think.
No, not
Fans Player of the Season.
I actually can't remember.
I think you might have done.
Yeah,
might be wrong.
I might have, yeah.
But at that point, are you thinking everything's just going too well?
Not really. I never count my chickens. I never look at it like that because you don't have time.
No.
You have one good game. You then play on a Tuesday. You have an average game. You're thinking about the average game. You've got to then get to the Saturday game to prove it wrong. And then you're on the conveyor belt. You're on to the next thing. You never get a chance to, like even with England, you never get a chance to go,
I've done it.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
You're like straight back in, another game, and you're just that's it.
Yeah.
It's you're just on to the next thing the whole time.
And I suppose that's the sacrifice of success, right? Because you're constantly looking ahead. You're constantly thinking, what do I do differently?
Yeah.
But I suppose now you've had a few months of just a bit more settled. I know you've got a lot going on. Yeah. But just sitting in this room and it's like, you must sit down here and be like, I'm really proud of what I've done.
I've always said, like, once I'm finished, I'll sit back and be like, I've had a really good career.
Yeah.
I've made the dream. I played for England. I've played for some fantastic clubs. I've played however many games, scored however many, played in the Premier League for 8 years.
Yeah.
But I'm not finished yet. Like, I don't want to sit and look back. I'm still on to the next until I can't.
Yeah.
And then, I've decided that's enough. Then I'll sit back and go like.
So you've never looked at it and thought it's a shame that I've not been able to fully appreciate like an England call-up?
No, don't get me wrong. I do feel like I maybe could have, but this is just the way I am. I think like I didn't want to be like, sit back, let's go and enjoy, do this. I was always like, no, I need to eat the right things, I need to drink the right things, I need to, not be going out, I need to be, that side of things. I think at West Ham especially, because of, I think, maybe the pressure, maybe because this just I was living in and around London. If we had a bad game on a Saturday, I wouldn't go out. I wouldn't be seen out.
Because of
everything. Yeah, because of everything. You'd be like, how can you go out and have a good time when you've just lost on the Saturday?
Right.
That was the, and I didn't want to put myself in a position that, I'd be out. Maybe I'd had a glass of wine at dinner with my wife or out with some friends. Why am I not allowed to do that? Well, I am, but I didn't want to put myself in that position. So maybe at that side of things, I maybe didn't do enough or appreciate maybe going out and enjoying myself as much as I possibly could have. But for me, it was all about making sure that I was doing everything possible to be the best footballer.
So, Big Sam, fantastic manager to work under, in comes Slaven Bilic, and I suppose that was the start of the end for your time at West Ham. How do you look back at your days at a massive football club?
Yeah, I loved it. For me, it was just, I suppose, a little bit disappointing at the end that I didn't maybe get enough game time as I would have liked.
Yeah.
Towards the end, I can't complain about the first 3 years, but nothing against Slaven. He was great.
You've worked under some big names, haven't you?
Yeah.
Like just looking back at the past few years.
Yeah. But we had Europa League for West Ham, and because the season before I hadn't quite played as much as I would have liked, I got called in early to then play the Europa League qualifiers because it was quite early.
Yeah.
So I come in, I played them. We got through to the next round, and then everyone sort of came back, and then started the season. I think we played Arsenal away first game. We won.
Yourself in.
We won.
Brilliant.
I came on. I played the last half an hour, 35 minutes. Second game, played the last half an hour. Third game, fourth game, I came on in every game.
Yeah.
I think it was the fifth maybe. I didn't quite. I think I was on the bench, didn't come on or something like that. And then it was the last day of the transfer window. I'm sat at home like everyone else watching the transfer window, and then I get a call to say, "Look, Norwich have come in, want to take you on loan for the season. Like, what are your thoughts?" And I was like, do you know what? I don't want to do what I did the season before. I felt like I'd been on the bench sort of every week, played maybe 12 games.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't do that. I just want to play football.
Yeah.
I'd worked so hard the year before. Me and Joey O'Brien, after every game, we'd be then out running on the pitch. It's demoralising sometimes. but kept myself in great condition. And I'd played in every game pretty much the start of the season under Slavan. And I'd spoke to him, and he said like he doesn't want me to go, he wants me to stay, and because I'd played in every game.
Yeah.
But he was like, I can't guarantee that you're gonna play. You might get like the 30 minutes, 25 minutes at the end of games, but I can't guarantee you're going to play. They just brought in Payet, they had Lanzini.
Yeah.
You know, it was. So I made the decision. I spoke to Alex Neil, and I was after speaking to him and everything. I thought, you know what? It's a really good opportunity for me to go and play some games and really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So there I was.
I can tell from your voice, and just I've only sort of been in your company for about an hour, but there's a real burning fire in your belly that you just really love football. You want to play football.
Yeah.
You're at a Premier League club. You've had a great Europa League campaign.
Yeah. I had 2 years left at West Ham.
Yeah, I mean, you could have quite easily sat there, had a very comfortable life, played 15 games a season, but you thought, no, I want a new challenge. I want to move to Norwich, out in the sticks.
Yeah.
Was that always the case for you? Was it like, I just really desperately want a new challenge?
Mean, for me, like at the time, no kids.
Yeah.
It was just me and my wife. We had no sort of ties. Although we had, we'd had a house down south, home. But
has this always been home?
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in Guildford, so I'm not far from around the corner. So it was like that was always going to be home. But it was my footballer's career is very short. So. It was only a season loan. Yeah. There was nothing in it for to buy or anything. So it was like, it's a season loan. I need to go and play football. My wife was fully behind it. I mean, she knows. We've got a thing upstairs saying sort of like something about marriage. Your marriage is the football season's over. But it is like that. Yeah. It's football was it. Yeah. So we were like, yep. Signed, sealed, delivered. I done all the paperwork. As another funny thing, I was around my next door neighbour because I didn't at the time. My printer wasn't working, my scanner wasn't working, so I had no thing. So I was banging on the door next door to go in, and I was like, "Can I use your computer? Is your scanner working?" Yeah. So I was having to I literally got it in about 10 minutes before the window closed.
So Norwich might not have signed you because your printer was
broken. I didn't have a printer. I was driving around trying to find. I was like shoving back to my next door neighbour.
You are joking?
No. Because it was all agreed, done.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Yep, I'll do it." Sign his paperwork. I went to do it on my house, and then the printer wasn't working, so I couldn't print it off to sign. I couldn't scan it. I was like, I'd done it. 10 minutes, and then I had to wait. Then you get the extra 2 hours. Okay. So then I had to get more paperwork done, signed all that. So that got to, I don't know what time it was, probably about 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then it was like, right, off you go, up to Norwich.
Yeah.
So I got in up at Norwich about 11 o'clock that night, and then straight in training the next day.
And pre-season's already happened at this point, hasn't it? And I can remember your debut, it was Bournemouth, wasn't it? And it was a beautiful, that's a great celebration as well. It was a beautiful day, and we had this exciting player in Matt Jarvis on the pitch, and I was sat just behind that, actually, in the Barclay, just behind that goal. And you were attacking down my side. I was near the corner flag, and I thought, this is just what we needed. Like, we haven't had a player like this since probably Darren Huckabee, in terms of just hits the flank and gets there. And I was so excited, and you've obviously got it up centrepiece in your man cave. Were you excited at that point? Were you like,
it was as debuts goes. At that point when I'd signed, I suppose because of the pre-season I'd had, because of the play, it was the best physical. Like position I'd be in. My VO2 was 70.9 or whatever it was. I was like,
word, that's good.
Okay, yeah. I was in really good shape. That game, as debuts go, can't get much better than that. We won 3-0, scoring. It was brilliant. I played really well. Me and Robbie, he was playing left back. We had a great understanding. Brilliant. Next game, West Brom in the cup. Score in the cup.
Yeah.
Things are flying.
It's a great finish, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, it's not as good as the first one.
No,
but,
okay.
But still, yeah. But I was buzzing.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Could not have dreamed of a better start to going somewhere. Again, didn't really know anyone at the club.
No.
So going there, loved it. Brilliant.
And this was a really exciting time for the club as well, because we were starting to make some big signings. We'd just been promoted.
Yeah.
We were playing free-flowing football.
Yeah, we were doing really well.
Playing some lovely stuff. And then for you, and I guess sadly, this might be what Norwich fans remember you by, I guess, and that's what we want to change, is the injuries start to come.
Yeah.
And had that always been a worry? Had there been recurring problems?
I'd not had anything. Yeah, the longest injury I'd had before this was I had, I think it was 10 weeks with a hamstring injury when I was went to, I think it was my second year at Wolves.
And it was a tackle with Yaya Toure, was it, that done it?
I mean,
Bloody Yaya.
I mean, what am I doing, really? Like, I can't... just ridiculous. I mean, I don't know if it was about the 8th game in.
Yeah, it was something
like that.
Early on, wasn't it?
And I was...
Because you'd signed permanently now.
No, I hadn't.
No, you
no,
still
I hadn't.
loaned, wasn't
no,
it?
No,
Okay.
So so played all of the other games, done really well. We were playing really well as a team. Playing against Man City.
Yeah.
We were playing really well at the time. I'd nearly scored just before. Like great game, feeling good. We were 0-0, doing really well. The ball just got played just too far for me.
Who made the pass?
I don't want to say, I'll get him in trouble.
Who was it? Go on.
It was Yusuf Malumbu.
Oh, Yusuf Malumbu.
And Yaya's slid in, and I'd not gone to ground. He'd gone to ground quite early, so now I've gone to like side foot to control him. But as he slid in, he's knocked my ankle first, which opened my knee up, and then I've gone through on the challenge. And obviously he's a massive guy, so I done my knee, and then the ball dropped, and then I smashed Sanya. I went into a second challenge, and then I carried on for about 5 minutes.
Did you?
Yeah.
So you didn't. It wasn't like
oh no, I stopped because I sat down, and then physio come on and was like testing it, and they were like, I was like, come on, I'll go, I'll just carry on. Because I was flying. I didn't want to stop, so I carried on, played another 5 minutes, and I just remember I was running up because we had a break, and I sprinted to get up the play, and I felt I'm all right. I'm sprinting straight line. Broke down. I stopped to come back, and I was like, wow, like no, that's not right. And then I was going. It was about 43 minutes on the clock, and I remember turning around to the bench and being like, oh, I'm struggling here. And they were like, can you make it to half time? And I was like, yeah, no problem. So I was like, on the side, like trying not to move really. Got through the half time. I sat up, like, iced it, and then once you take the ice off, then that was it. It was like stiff, sore. It was a bad day because then we drove to the airport. Flight was then cancelled. We then had to get the bus back. Stopped off at the services. I'm in a brace, game ready. I bought 3 DVDs for the coach because it was going to be a long time. Got back on the coach, put it on. About 20 seconds into it, everything cut out.
No.
So it was just one of them. You just sat there just like that on the coach, like. Oh.
What was it? What can you remember the score?
I can't remember the score now. I actually can't remember the score now.
So
yeah, that was it, and it was a nightmare. I had the scans. They said it was a grade 2 deep fibre MCL. Fine. They said it would be about 8 to 10 weeks. Fine. Did all of the rehab. Did everything. Got myself back training, and I was like, it's still not right. And I was like, oh, it just takes a bit of time. If anyone's done a medial, I don't know if you have. It does. It just hangs around for a little bit. I was like, right, fine, no problem. So carried on. Played for the rest of the season. Was still really sore.
Yeah.
I was like, still sore. So I was having, in international breaks, I was having steroid injections to try and settle it down. Nothing really was happening. In the summer, I then had PRP injections all through the summer to make sure it was right. Come back pre-season, done the first sort of week of pre-season, and I literally just couldn't kick the ball with my right foot. Every time I done it, killing me. And I was just like, I can't do it anymore. Like, it's so sore. Yeah. And they were like, okay, fine. So I then went under the knife, opened me up, and they were like, it's not really attached properly. I was like, so I had to have the surgery. Yeah. Got myself back in the exact time that I was supposed to be back. Got back training, first training session, got it, come inside, shot, and I got smashed. Well, to be fair, it wasn't really a smashed. It wasn't. It was. It's actually Ben Godfrey.
Was it?
But he didn't smash me. I'd come inside, shot, and he blocked and sort of done it, and it ricocheted on my ankle, and it whacked my ankle right back. And again, it was my first training session. I just worked so hard to get myself back fit. I was just like, oh, that's really sore, and then carried on. I was like, nah, I'm carry on, it's fine. And then obviously got sore, and then had a scan. They said, oh, it's just inflammation. So I was like, fine. So I just carried on training, had another jab in it, international break, another jab in it. And then I was just like, do you know what, this is so sore. And it was then sort of like a trickle effect. I was just like going into training, and I was like, it's really sore. And they were like, but you're still training. And I was like, I know, but it's really sore.
Yeah.
And then one thing happened, I sort of got to the end of the season, had more injections in the summer, come back pre-season. After again about another week, I was like, no, it's really sore.
Yeah.
Again, they went in for exploratory surgery, opened me up, and then if you can imagine, cartilage is on the top like that. So on the scan, everything's fine. When they went in and touched the cartilage, it all fell off like that. But because on the scan it had gone back, when you touch it, it all fell off. So I had 2 osteochondral defects in my ankle, so I had to have microfracture on the thing. So I woke up going, oh, like, it's like 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, and they were like, no, and I was like,
yeah.
So really, I'd done a year and a half of training, playing, when both things weren't right.
It's really frustrating as a fan, because we obviously remembered the debut and the goal against West Brom, and then it's like, we didn't see you for ages, isn't it?
I know.
And all we keep hearing is, Matt Jarvis is out for another 4 weeks, he's out for another 8 weeks.
Yeah.
For you, you're probably working harder than ever.
I mean, ridiculous. I mean, every single day.
Yeah.
And again, in this scenario I mentioned to you before, like, I had my son. So they were sort of commuting. They were staying a bit more back home when I had a bit more help. I was trying, I'm missing out on my son growing up. So it's my job, but I love football. But I'm missing my son grow up because I'm putting in the hard work to get myself fit. You ask anyone in and around a training ground, you see me every single day working to get myself fit.
I read a quote from a piece, I think it was TalkSport. You said, I'd cry and there were just days when I'd be in pain every day. I couldn't walk. I'd just hurt. And I guess it gets to a stage where you might not be able to cook a football, but if you can't walk, you can't drive.
Well,
and you're like, I'm an elite athlete and I can't do basics.
Yeah,
you must just be tearing your hair out.
It was apart from my son, it was the worst time of my life for sure. I would literally, I couldn't walk without being pain in my ankle, and I did break down a few times, but it's one of them that I was always just like, this is not going to be it. Like, I'll work harder. That was my thought process. I'll work harder and I'll get myself back, and that was the way it was going to be. But I remember I went had to go down to see the specialist again, just to sort of, basically we had another scan where they put the iodine in, and then it goes in to see if the microfracture had worked, to see if there's because you can't rebuild cartilage, you have to build like I can't remember what it's called now, but it's sort of like your fibrous tissue, that's what it is. Okay. So it's basically it's blood that's been dried, and that's your cartilage. Yeah. And they wanted to see whether it worked, and they came back and they were like, it's been a success. Oh no, sorry, they had the scan and then they were doing the results. So that was on like a Thursday. I had the scan, and then they were taking it away for a big conference with all of their the top people to have a look at it over the weekend. So when I spoke to the specialist, he was like, look, this is sort of it. If it's not worked, there's nothing we can really do for you. And I remember I was in the physio, and the club were very good. They just went, look, just go and have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, go with your family, go and I was just like, I remember going, and me and my wife, we booked to go stay somewhere up in Suffolk, actually, just for the weekend. And I remember just being there and just being like, this is just trying to have a good time, but knowing that, what could be the case. It was difficult very difficult weekend, and just walking around, like I couldn't walk downhill, because as soon as I walked downhill I was getting a pain, and it's not like, it's all right, it's a pain, and I was just like, I can't actually walk downhill.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. And my wife's saying, like, okay, well, I'm thinking more of you're not going to be able to run around and play with Leah in the garden. You're further down the line, you're going to be you're going to be in a bad way. And I never once, I say never once, I'd never thought, right, I'm going to retire, because I'd always think, no, I'm going to get there, I'm going to do it. And then they came back on the Monday and were like, okay, look, we've got the results. The operation was a success. There's loads of fibrous tissue. That was good. But you're still in pain. So it was like, what are you going to do? So, I carried on doing everything possible. And it turned into about 8-9 months before it actually sort of turned a corner. And then I got fit. And then as everyone sort of tells you, that when you've come back from such a long time out, although I'd got myself fit, got a new injury, got myself fit, got a new injury, because everything was all on my right leg. So I had to build my quad back up, build my hamstring, glutes, calves, everything on that side, because it had sort of disappeared.
Of course,
from all the time I've gone up. So I then picked up IT band friction syndrome, because my mechanics had changed. So then I had an op just to clear that up, to get back from that. And I got myself back fit. And I was training every day with the lads, doing everything. And Daniel Farker was in now. I was playing in the 23s game, and then I picked up a groin injury. Picked up like a little quad. These are all 7 days, but it's demoralising. You're working so hard, doing everything in training, sprinting, crossing, shooting, doing everything. And then you get to one game, and then you just tweak a groin, and they're like, it's all right, it's only 7 days, you'll be fine. I'm like, but I've come from 2 years, and it's another 7 days. I was there. I've worked so hard to get there, and I was there again. But I got myself fit. I was training every day, and was fit and was doing well. And then it got to coming up to January, and my intention was never ever to go on loan. I liked the way Daniel Farker was playing. I thought it would suit me perfectly. He'd even told me that he said it would suit me perfectly. He would like me. It would be great for me to be in the team. But then it was one of them that I think it was end of December, so it was just coming up to Christmas. The team was flying. There was pretty much no injuries, and I was like, I'm not getting in the squad. I was like, and then I got taken in to see Stuart Webber, and he just said, look, also want to take you on loan. I think it'd be good for you to go and get some games, get yourself back into playing. And I sort of was like, oh.
That comes as a shock.
Well, I mean, you look back now, it's probably not a shock at all. But for me, I'd worked so hard with all the physios, the fitness, everyone there, all the staff, everyone. And I was like, I'm ready to get back and play for the first team. But then, I was like, right, okay. So I had a day to think about it at home, and then went and spoke to the manager, and I just sort of said, look, what are your thoughts? Because if you're saying to me, one thing, and Stuart saying to me another, I want to sort of know. And to be fair, he was brilliant. I always had a good relationship with Daniel, and he said to me, look, as a manager, I want you to stay. You've got great experience. I love the way you are around the change room. You work hard. You're a great role model for them. But I can't guarantee that you're going to play. He said, so as a person, he said, I think you need to go and play some games and get yourself back playing games, get your career back on track. And I was like, okay,
fair play.
That's fine. I will go on loan, no problem.
Going back to them under 23 games and you were playing, and you talked about you worked so hard, you got back, and then you got injured again. it was really interesting following that from like a fan's perspective, because I think there was stages of your injuries. It was like, first it was frustration, because it's like, we know what you can do. And I'm sure it's frustration for you throughout. And then it was, this is getting annoying now, as harsh as that may sound.
Yeah.
But it's like, we know we've got a good player, we've signed you permanently, it's happening again. And then you kind of go off the radar a bit and you're working hard, and then you pick up an injury in training. And then it almost turns into a joke, as harsh as that sounds. And then you get back into under 23s and it's like, we kind of know what's going to happen here. And it does happen. What was your... Because the fans don't really know what's going on.
I know there wasn't no... I suppose... I think it's more, I suppose, the club sort of protecting me, I suppose.
Yeah.
But there was nothing in the press about me for probably about a year.
No. How did you kind of deal with that time from a mental side of things? Because the physical side of things is one thing. Mentally, you've suddenly, you can't do what you love. And you've got fans on your back going, what's going on? How do you play that?
It's very difficult. Like I said, like for me, I'm my biggest critic. You know, I don't need anyone to tell me, if I played well, if I'm injured, anything. I know what my body's like. I know how my body works, and it's like I said, it's demoralising. You're sat in the gym working hard, watching everyone else train.
Yeah.
I go to the games to watch and support the lads, but I hate it because I'm watching the games going, I should be out there. I could be playing. I could be helping the team, and I can't. And then I go there and everyone's like, oh, what are you doing? Why are you injured? Why are you doing this? And you're like, you just don't understand like what don't get me wrong, it's the best job in the world and I wouldn't change it, and I don't feel sorry for me because it's, it is the best job in the world. But people, if you just come in and do one day of what I was doing, you would realise the work, the amount of effort and desire. And you look at the picture, and that emotion is just amazing. And every single day I would work to make sure that I could get myself back, and to just see like people messaging you on Insta or Twitter and just battering you, and you're like, well, in the end you just sort of just be like.
I suppose you're out of control though, aren't you?
Yeah.
There's a lot of in life, if you can control something and it goes wrong, you're not so bad with it, because it's like, okay, that didn't go the way I wanted it to, but I can change it next time.
Yeah, I think
when you screw your ankle up, it's like, there's not really much I can do here.
No, I didn't try and do it,
But your body's your body, right?
Yeah. You can only control the controllables. I think that was Mick or Jodie Craddock used to say that. I can't remember. But
how do you look back on your time at Norwich?
Gutted, disappointed, because it was such an amazing start, and like even now, like I'm doing some of the commentary and I look and I'm like, I'm so pleased for them.
Yeah,
I am. Like the club, the supporters, the staff, the players, all of the backroom staff as well. Including kitchen. Everyone. I'm so pleased for them. But I look at it and I'm like, I feel gutted that I'm not a part of it, because I know, I could have easily been.
I think this word is probably quite a strong emotion, but is it jealousy?
I
don't think jealousy is always a bad thing.
I think maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I've been there and I've done it.
Yeah.
So I know what it's like. And that's because I've been there for 9 years and played there in the Premier League.
Yeah.
But I want to do it with that group of players as well, because I've seen the work they've put in. I've although maybe not been playing, I've tried to help them as a senior player in the change rooms. I've helped them with gym. I've helped them with little bits that I could help, like even with the Murphs. Give them little pointers. Yeah. Toddy. What a revelation he's been this season. I mean, he done really well last season, but just talking to him, Jamal, the same sort of thing. Ben,
I see you really remind me of Russ in certain ways, and he took that role, didn't he?
He did.
Do you take pride in that you were able to
the thing
help?
is, I love helping people. You know, I'm that sort of person. I do like to do that. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, thank me for helping you.
Yeah.
They've done it.
Yeah.
I've not done anything. You know, they've put in all the hard graft. Toddy works hard. Jamal, they all work hard. It's just giving little pointers, and you know, I've been there and done it. So if I can tell them what I've experienced, it might help them. It might not. They might say, do you know what? He just did all that in my ear and I didn't listen at all.
But I guess it's nice for someone like that, Todd, to look at you and go, they've seen your journey. Maybe they can take something from that. And it's that pathway, isn't it? That vision, and it's going, I'm here now, but I can get to where you were. Yeah,
and they also, you know, Toddy, when he was on loan not last season, season before, he'd come back, he'd hurt his leg, and he'd come back in, and, you know, I was in, me and Louis were in, and, you know, you can see how hard we're working to get back, and then he's working that hard. We're in, it's sort of like you're all in it together, you're all getting yourself fit, and then he goes back and you're trying to tell him, like, look, you know, you should look after yourself, try and do this. And he goes and done, and he was brilliant. And then he's come back, got himself back into the team, and now he's doing absolutely fantastic.
If you were to give one message to the Norwich fans, and this is a very keenly anticipated interview, what would it be? What would your message to the Norwich fans be over the time you were there? If you could say to them what you went through, if you could change anything.
I mean, the thing is, I would love to say that I'd change, that I would never go in for that tackle at Yaya Toure, because I don't think it's all sort of been a knock-on effect, and it's a nightmare, but it's never once from lack of effort and desire to play for the club. I've worked, I've made, again, it's the best job in the world. I appreciate that. I've sacrificed watching my son grow up. I've been in pain for 2 years of my life to try and get myself back fit to play. Yeah. Not to sit there, pick up wage like everyone said. You know, I lived on my own. I stayed up there. I worked. I didn't go out. I went in every single day. Maybe 6-7 day weeks. Yeah. Sometimes it was literally 7 days. Other times you had the Sunday off or the Saturday, whatever it worked out. So all the time I was up there working. There's never once that I've been like, do you know what? I don't care. Yeah. I've worked so hard for that club to get myself back fit, and I'm absolutely gutted that I could not have, stayed fit, I suppose, but get myself back and then show everyone what I started. Yeah. Because when I started, and that first 8 games or something was brilliant, and that was me. That was the way I played. That was me. And I would have loved to have shown everyone what I could have done for that team, and to be, I would like to think if I would have done that, I would have still be there now, and been playing in the Premier League with everyone else. Yeah. But it wasn't to be, not for the lack of effort, but I thank everyone for the hard work, and especially the staff and the players, the fans, most of the fans, because it wasn't all the fans. It's only a small percentage. And
I think even the ones that maybe were giving you stick was through a very diverted route, but just wanting to see you out there.
Yeah, and I fully appreciate that. And like I said, that is the biggest thing for me, is I wanted to be there. I'm sure you can tell. I did genuinely want to be there. I could not have, put in any more effort to have got there. It's just unfortunate that it never happened, and I do regret. Regret it is not the right word, because it wasn't my fault. It's just I wish that I could have played more for Norwich, definitely.
What's next then? Because I'm still seeing lots of videos of you in gyms and dashing about and doing very hard-looking exercises. You're doing lots of media work, Radio Norfolk and TalkSport. Yeah. What is your burning desire now?
Still to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's the biggest thing. I am going to be, I'm hoping to go in and find a club soon. I'm still training every day. I'm still in good nick. I'm not injured. I'm doing media work just to be involved. I got an opportunity to go to TalkSport, and then from that I've done BBC Radio Norfolk, which has been great because I've been able to see the Norwich games, which has been great. I'm doing other bits and pieces. I'm doing BT Sport next week, pitch side for the Wolves Braga game.
Brilliant.
Which will be great. Nice to go back to Molineux as
course.
well. But for me, this is brilliant to do all the media stuff, and I've really enjoyed it because it's something different. It's a different sort of side of the football, and I loved it, and I really would like to keep that going. But I want to play football. That is it. That's my job. That's what I've done. That is the only thing I want to do. So I will be hoping to sign for a club very soon.
Good. Well, best of luck with it. Thank you so much for welcoming me into your lovely house, and I hope it all goes well. Matt,
Thank you.
Top man. Thank you.